So our guest contributors today. So first of all, Senator Jordon Steele-John, Green Senator for WA, Australia Greens, and Cassie Markwell, Senior Positive Behaviour Support Practitioner for Positive Futures. And just a quick introduction to Jordon before I throw over to him for his contribution. So in his own words, Jordon entered politics by chance in late 2017. And since then has really shaken the place up. As a disabled person and the youngest person in the Senate, he's exactly the kind of person the establishment wants to keep out. Over the past decade, Jordon has spent most of his free time out in the Western Australian community, campaigning for a better future for everyone. He's fiercely passionate about addressing the climate crisis and is privileged to be a part of the growing climate movement led by some of our brightest young people. He has also spent a lot of time campaigning in the disability, health, and peace space because he believes that they're central to making our communities safe and secure for everyone.
So to begin, I thought I'd ground us in some principles. These are principles that guide our work as a team. They guide the Australian Greens work more broadly, and our policy creation and initiative creation process. And I think because they were born out of a deep process of co-design, with people with lived experience. I'm really quite proud of them as values, as aims and principles that genuinely reflect what would be needed to create transformational change in the mental health system. We need to ensure that people with lived experience, including disabled people, are actually genuinely, authentically in the driving seat of any and all policy creation processes, policy implementation processes, or work to support a community in a peer group dynamic. What does it mean to be in the driving seat? Quite frankly, what it means is that you're actually leading the co-design process, the planning, the evaluation of the mental health system particularly, and the NDIS and other disability services. At the heart of co-design, at the heart of driving the process, in my view, is authentic power sharing. If power sharing isn't occurring, then co-design isn't occurring. And it's a key test, I think. We need these systems to work for the people that actually use them. And we know that currently they don't. And so they need to be transformed so that they are grounded in and developed from lived experience, and relevant scientific evidence. The knowledge, language, and approaches prioritized by people with lived experience should underpin all services and the philosophy that sits behind those services. All of this needs to be placed below an umbrella of choice and control over the services and supports that people wish to use. And again, I can't emphasize enough, if somebody is struggling to exercise that choice and control, then supported decision-making must be what we look to. Substituted decision-making causes great harm to the community. And we need to acknowledge that reality. Acknowledging that the medical model of mental health is one of a series of models that people may identify, that organizations may deploy in order to give people the support that they need when and where they need it. And I say that not at all dismissing or denigrating the fact that people may well find good support through the medical model and find that medications work for them and those kind of approaches are what they need. And it is true that many people don't, and that there are other models and methods of approaching mental health that are equally as scientifically valid and evidence-based that also need to be supported and acknowledged as a reality and something that we can work on.
Just quickly around Cassie Markwell. So Senior Positive Behaviour Support Practitioner for Positive Futures. Cassie's purpose in life is to help people. She has a bachelor's degree in behavioral science with a major in psychology and a minor in criminology. Cassie also has a graduate diploma of psychology advanced, a graduate certificate in suicide prevention studies, and is enrolled in a master in autism. Through her previous year's experience as a supported independent living home coordinator, she found a special interest helping people and families of those with significantly challenging behaviours. So delighted to have Cassie here, and I will throw to you.
So just quickly, for those who don't know what a positive behaviour support practitioner is, because it's still, I guess, an emerging role, basically I work with clients through the NDIS who have the challenging behaviours, as we like to call them politely, who need support. And that's whether the client needs support or the client's support and stakeholder team needs support. I like to say basically my job is to help people live their best life, to make sure that they are having their human rights met. And I moved into this space because when I was working in SIL homes, I found a lot of supports, while trying their best, were actually not doing what was best for their clients. So whether that be, the in-home support, they were rushing through and not considering the client. They were, just getting things done, basically. And unfortunately, they were breaching human rights. So that's what led me into the positive behaviour support space. It's not about changing the client, changing who they are. It's about giving them alternative options to potentially maladaptive behaviours. But a lot of it is around the supports around the client. As far as suicidality goes, it stems into that quite significantly in the stigma around suicide that, we experience every day. I find that is markedly increased in the disabled population. People are scared to talk about it. People don't know how to talk about it. It's almost way more taboo to talk about suicidality with someone who is disabled. It's like this, it's too much, or, if we talk about it, we're going to encourage it. Those regular kind of things, but just way, way worse. So I find it quite prevalent in my job. Potentially half of my clients have expressed suicidality or had incomplete attempts at suicide, which is terrifying. So it's just so underspoken about and just not on anyone's radar or list to talk about, to make sure people understand what it is and to understand the feelings that they're having, to delve past the surface level and really go into it with someone, that it's completely out of whack, basically. As Ali said, I specialise in clients with challenging behaviour, so a lot of my clients do have cognitive limitations, but again, that seems to cause the support to I guess, believe my clients aren't going to be able to understand, or that it's too far above them, or that they won't even consider that suicide is an option for them, or something that they might consider. So it's all just ignored as though it's not a topic that's ever going to come up. So it's something that's very, very common in my daily work, unfortunately. So that's what I'm very passionate about, making sure that everyone with disabilities is treated the same as everyone without disabilities as far as suicide prevention goes. A lot of what Jordon said really rang true with me. A lot of the challenges that he mentioned about facing, especially around the psychosocial disabilities. What I've experienced, what I've experienced a lot is, I guess, people with physical and mental disabilities, potentially the ones that are falling through the cracks the most. Because when they go to hospital, present to hospital, for example, they're assessed based on their physicalities, not the mental health. If they present for mental health purposes, that's almost dismissed because they have physical concerns. The doctors address the physical concerns and the mental health is almost slipped to the side, when, suicidality is quite common with people who have significant chronic, physical concerns. It's like we talked about siloing before. It's almost like even the medical system can't put those two together when they're in one package. And I think that exacerbates it then, because people are reaching out. They have, or my clients specifically, they've spent a long time feeling like a burden, even though they're not, of course. They feel like a burden. And when they do finally reach out, then they're not getting the support that they're asking for. They feel like a further burden, and it just continues. So when they've reached out for help, and don't get it, that just continues the cycle of depression and suicidality and so forth.
A huge thank you to Jordon and to Cassie for your contributions to the event. Please take 30 seconds to complete our event survey. Your feedback's very important to us. The link should be in the chat from Lexi. And please do continue to connect with each other in the forum space on the Suicide Prevention Network, which is also where you'll find our latest thought leadership article on safe language. And as we're planning out the upcoming events and the events for the second part of the year, if there's any suggestions that you have for future topics that you would like to be covered, please send us an email or send us a message.